let you guys know a couple of things. First of all, my name is Ms. Joseph Albrecht. I'm the English department chair here, and we have 13 students who are going to be recitating for you. We have 2 rounds, so they will be doing their first round. We'll take a quick break, we'll come back, and then we'll do our second round. We have 4 judges, and they're up here in the front row. We'll get to know a little bit about them here in a minute. And then we also have Mr. Shaver over here. He is tallying our scores for us. After the 2 rounds are done, we're going to take another quick break so that Mr. Shaver can tally the votes, and then we will announce one person to move on to the regional competition, and we will give them the details for that as well. So without further ado, I have 2, a lady and a gentleman, come on out here. They're going to host for us. Nolan Kramer and Miss Sophia Jigley.
Alright guys, so our first judge today is a former English instructor here at Toledo Early College, Mr. Eric Pilcher. So Mr. Pilcher has a bachelor's in education and a master's in literature. He is currently a professor of curriculum and instruction at the University of Toledo and working towards his PhD. His interests include digital literacy, multimodal communication, and walking his dog.
Next, Steve Tomzak, a former intervention specialist and English instructor at Toledo Early College. He is currently an intervention specialist at Woodward High School. Let's give Mr. Pilcher and Mr. Tomzak a warm welcome back.
Our third judge is a 2018 Toledo Early College graduate, Miss Laura Samarani. Laura Samarani currently attends the University of Toledo, majoring in exercise science. Not only does she enjoy the performing arts and poetry, but she is a well-known social media influencer. Check out her very own makeup account on Instagram, @makeup with 2 P's by Laura.
Okay.
You can thank me later for the plug, Laura. This will be her first appearance at an early college judging for Poetry Out Loud, but certainly not her last.
Speaking of last but not least, Stefan Thomas. Stefan Thomas is a freelance writer, creative consultant, independently published children's book writer, and screenwriter. Born and raised in the Bronx, New York, he obtained a bachelor's degree from Oberlin College in English with a concentration in creative writing. Upon graduating, he landed a job as a staff writer and associate editor for the American Greetings Card Company, based out of Cleveland, Ohio. Mr. Thomas also began full-time work as a freelance writer and consultant specializing in entertainment, film, TV, and comic books. His first love is screenwriting, and he has the opportunity to create scripts and project outlines for numerous major and minor production companies. He is the co-founder of the Creative Extreme, an entertainment industry which has produced over 400 original characters and more than 30 continuous storylines. In 2018, he self-published his first children's book entitled How I Met My Robot. Mr. Thomas lives in Toledo, Ohio with his wife and 3 children.
This afternoon, English teacher Miss Julie Kwiatkowski will be our poetry prompter, as well as our accuracy judge.
Let's give a round of applause to our panel. Silence your cell phones, and a reminder that no food or drink is permitted in the auditorium.
The Affliction of Richard by Robert Bridges. Love, not too much, but how? When thou hast made me such, and dost thy gifts bestow, how can I love too much? Though I must fear to lose, and drown my joy and care, with all its forms, I choose the path of love and prayer. Though thou, I know not why, didst kill my childish trust, that breach with toil did I, repaired because I must. in spite of frightening schemes, with which the fiends of hell blaspheme thee in my dreams. So far I have hoped well. But what the heavenly key, what marvel in me wrought, shall quite exculpate thee. I have no shadow of thought. What am I that complain? The love from which began my question, sad and vain, justifies thee to man.
Aria by David Barber. What if it were possible to vanquish all this shame with a wash of varnish, instead of wishing the stain would vanish? What if you gave it a glossy finish? What if there were a way to burnish all this foolishness, all the anguish? What if the self you love to punish, knavish, peevish, wolfish, sheepish, were all slipped up in something lavish? Why so squeamish? Why make a fetish out of everything you must relinquish? Why not embellish what you can't abolish? What if you gave yourself leave to ravish all these ravages of famished relish? What if this were your way to flourish? What would be left if you couldn't brandish all the slavishness you failed to banish? What would you be without this gibberish? What if the true worth of the varnish were to replenish your resolve to vanquish every vain wish before you vanish?
Please welcome our next recitator, Serena Roberts.
The Mortician in San Francisco by Randall Mann. This may sound queer, but in 1985, I held the delicate hands of Dan White. I prepared him for burial. By then, Harvey Milk was made monument, no, myth, by the years since he was shot. I remember when Harvey was shot, 20, and I knew I was queer. Those were the years, Levi's and leather jackets, holding hands on Castro Street, cheering for Harvey Milk, elected on the same day as Dan White. I often wonder about Supervisor White, who fatally shot Mayor Moscone and Supervisor Milk, who was one of us, a Castro queer. May 21st, 1979. A jury hands down the sentence. 7 years. In truth, 5 years for ex-cop, ex-fireman Dan White. For the blood on his hands when he confessed that he had shot the mayor and the queer. A few men in blue cheer. And Harvey Milk? Why cry over spilled milk? Some wondered semi-privately for years. It meant one less queer. The jurors turned to White. If just the mayor had been shot, Dan might have had trouble on his hands. But the 12 who held his life in their hands maybe didn't mind the death of Harvey Milk. Maybe the second murder offered him a shot at serving only a few years. In the end, he committed suicide, this Dan White. And he was made presentable by a queer.
Please welcome to the microphone, Sammy Kimberly.
Self-Help by Michael Ryan. What kind of delusion are you under? The life he hid just knocked you flat. You see the lightning, but not the thunder. What God hath joined, let no man put asunder. Did God know you'd marry a rat? What kind of delusion are you under? His online persona simply stunned her, as it did you when you started to chat. You see the lightning, but not the thunder. To the victors go thunder. You should crown them with a baseball bat. You see the lightning, but not the thunder. What kind of delusion are you under? The kind that causes blunder after blunder. Is there any other kind than that? You see the lightning, but not the thunder. And for 1 second, the world's a wonder. Just keep it thrilling under your couch. What kind of delusion are you under? You see the lightning, but not the thunder.
Up next, we have Lillian Steedley.
Quite frankly, by Mark Holiday. They got old. They got old and died, but first they composed plangent depictions of how much they lost and how much cared about losing. Meantime, their hair got thin and more thin as their shoulders went slumpy. Okay, but not before the photo albums got arranged by them. Arranged with a niftiness. Not just 2 or 3, but 18 photo albums. Yes, 18 eventually. 18 albums proving the beauty of them and not someone else. Them, their relation and friends, incontrovertible. Playing croquet in that Bloomington yard. Floating on those comic inflatables at Dow Lake. Giggling at the Dairy Queen. Waltzing at the wedding. Building a Lego palace on the porch. Holding a baby beside the rental truck. Leaning on the Hemingway statue at Pamplona. Discussing the eternity of art in that Sardinian restaurant. Yes. And so, quite frankly, at the end of the day, they got old and died. Okay, sure, but quite frankly, how much does that matter in view of the 18 photo albums, big ones, 13 inches by 12 inches each, full of such undeniable beauty?
Up next, Kiam Ali.
Dissolved by Al-Rashid Ali. I'll do what I must if I'm bold in real time. A refugee, I'll be paroled in real time. Cool evidence clawed off like shirts of hellfire. A former existence untold in real time. The one you would choose. Were you led then by him? What longing, yars controlled in real time. Each syllable sucked under waves of our earth. The funeral love comes to hold in real time. They left him alive so that he could be lonely. The God of small things is not consoled in real time. Please, afterwards, empty my pockets of keys. It's hell in the city of gold in real time. God's angels again are forsaken, forlorn. Salvation was bought, but sin sold in real time. And who is the terrorist? Who the victim? We'll know if the country is cold in real time. Behind the door marked danger are being unwound. The prayers my friend had enscrolled in real time. The throat of the rear view and sliding down it, the street of farewells now enrolled in real time. I heard the incessant dissolving of silk. I felt my heart growing so old in real time. What hope lets your hand break the cold in real time? Her heart must be ash where her body lies burned. Now, friend, the beloved has stolen your words. Read slowly. The plot will unfold in real time.
Next up, we have Abby McLaughlin.
It is not, by Valerie Martinez. We have the body of a woman, an arch of the ground, but there is no danger. Her hair falls, spine bowed, but no one is with her. The desert, yes, with its cacti, fir sage, sidewinders. She is not in danger. If we notice, there are the tracks of animals moving east toward the sunrise, and the light is about to touch a woman's body without possession. Here, there are no girl's bones in the earth, marked with violence. A choya blooms just 2 feet away. It blooms. There is a man, like her father, who wakes to a note saying, I have gone for a day to the desert. Now he knows she is in danger. He will try to anticipate what happens to a young woman, how it will happen, how he will deal with the terrible. In him, he feels he knows this somehow. He knows because there are men he knows who are capable. This place she has gone to. Where? But it doesn't matter. There is, first of all, the heat which scorches. Snakes with their coils and open mouths, men who go there with the very thing in mind. The very thing. It is the desert on its own. Miles beyond what anyone can see. Not peaceful, nor vengeful. It does not bow down. It is not danger. I cannot speak of it without easing or troubling myself. It is not panorama, nor theater. I do not know. It is conception. The gifts or burdens I bear, whether arch, a prayer, or danger. They can happen, yes. We conceive them. This very woman I know. The man does sit tortured. The desert created merely embodies its place. And watch us, they are visions, O God, upon it.
Up next, Savannah Smith.
By Tracy K. Smith. 5 p.m. on the nose. They open their mouths and it rolls out. High, shrill, and metallic. First the boy, then his sister. Occasionally, they both let loose at once, and I think of putting on my shoes to go up and see whether it is merely an experiment their parents have been conducting upon the good crystal, which must surely lie shattered to dust on the floor. Maybe the mother is still proud of the 4 pink clouds she nursed to such might. Perhaps if they hit the magic decibel, the whole building will lift off and will ride to glory like Elijah. If this is it, if this is what their cries are cocked toward, let the sky pass from blue to red to molten gold to black. Let the heaven be an errant approach. Whether it is our dead and Old Testament robes, or a door opening onto the roiling infinity of space. Whether it will bend down to greet us like a father or swallow us like a furnace, I'm ready to meet what refuses to let us keep anything for long. What teases us with blessings, bends us with grief, wizard, thief, the great wind rushing to knock our mirrors to the floor, to sweep our short lives clean. How mean our racket seems beside it, my stereo on shuffle, the neighbor chopping onions through a wall. All of it just a hiccup against what may never come for us. And the kids upstairs, still at it, screaming like the dawn of man, as if something they have no name for has begun to insist upon being born.
Would John David Height please come to the microphone?
Mingus at the Showplace by William Matthews. I was miserable. Of course, for I was 17, so I swung into action and wrote a poem, and it was miserable. For that was how I thought poetry worked. You digested experience, shat literature. It was 1960, at the Showplace, long since defunct on West 4th Street, and I sat at the bar, casting beer money from a thin reel of ones. The kid in the city, big ears like a puppy, and I knew Mingus was a genius. I knew two other things, but they were wrong, as it happened. So, I made him look at the poem. There's a lot of that going around, he said. And sweet baby Jesus, he was right. He laughed amiably. He didn't look as if he thought bad poems were dangerous the way some poets do. If they were baseball executives, they'd plot to destroy sandlots everywhere so that the game could be saved from children. Of course, later that night, he fired his pianist in mid-number and flurried him from the stand. We've suffered a diminuendo in personnel, he explained, and the band played on.
Up next, Amaya Ham.
Bleeding Heart by Carmen Jimenez Smith. My heart is bleeding. It bleeds upwards and fills my mouth up with salt. It bleeds because of a city in ruins. The chair, still worn from a sister's body, because it will all be irreproducible. My heart bleeds because of Baby Bear, not finding Mama Bear, and it bleeds to the tips of my fingers, like I painted my nails crimson. Sometimes, my heart bleeds so much, I am a raisin. It bleeds until I am a quivering, ragged clot. Bleeds. At the ending, with the heroine and her sunken cancer eyes. At the ending, with the plaintive flute over smoke-choked Achilles field. I am bleeding a river of blood right now, and is wearing a culvert in me for the blood. My heart rises up in me, becomes the cork of me, and I choke on it. I'm bleeding for you, and for me, and for the tiny babies in the IEZ long leg. It bleeds, because I am made that way, all filled up with blood. My sloppy heart a sponge,
filled with blood to squeeze onto any circumstance. Because it is mine, it will always bleed. My heart bled today. It bled onto the streets and the steps of City Hall. It bled in the pizza parlor with the useless jukebox. I've got so much blood to give, inside and outside of any milieu. Even for a bad zoning decision, I'll bleed so much you'll be bleeding. All of us, bleeding, in and out like it's breathing or kissing. And because it is righteous and terrible and dread.
Next up, we have Alex Schultz.
I'm Trying to Break Your Heart by Kevin Young. I am hoping to hang your head on my wall in shame. The slightest taxidermic thrills me. Fish forever leaping on the living room wall. Paperweights made from skulls of small animals. I want to wear your smile on my sleeve and break your heart like a horse or its leg. Weeks of being bucked off. Then all at once, you're mine. Put me down. I want to call you thine, to tattoo mercy along my knuckles. I, assassin down the avenue, I hope to have you forgotten by noon, to know you by your knees. Palsy by prayer. Loneliness is a science. Consider the taxidermist's tender hands, trying to keep from losing skin, the bobcat grin of the living.
Next up to the microphone, Jada McIntyre.
A display of mackerel by Mark Griffin. They lie in parallel rows on ice, head to tail, each a foot of luminosity barred with black fans which divide the scales radiant sections like seams of lead in a Tiffany window. Iridescent, watery prismatics, think Avalon, the wildly rainbowed mirror of a soap bubble spear. Think sun on gasoline. Splendor. In splendor, and not a one in any way distinguished from the other. Nothing about them of individuality. Instead, they're all expressions of the one soul, each a perfect fulfillment of heaven's template, mackerel essence. As if after a lifetime arriving at this enameling, the jewelers made uncountable examples, each as intricate in its oily fabulation as the one before it. Suppose we could iridesce like these and lose ourselves entirely in the universe of shimmer. Would you want to be yourself only, unduplicatable, doomed to be lost? And they prefer, plainly, to be flashing participants, multitudinous. Even now, they seem to be bolting forward, heedless of stasis. They don't care they're dead, and nearly frozen, just as, presumably, they didn't care that they were living. Although, the rainbow school and its acres of brilliant classrooms in which no bird is singular, or everyone is. How happy they seem. even on ice, to be together, selfless, which is the price of bleeding.
Our last recitator of round 1, Desiree Smith.
Filling Station by Elizabeth Bishop. Oh, but it is dirty, this little filling station. Oil soaked, oil permeated to a disturbing, overall black translucency. Careful with that match. Father wears a dirty, oil-soaked monkey suit that cuts him under the arms, and several quick and saucy and greasy sons assist him. It's a family filling station, all quite thoroughly dirty. Do they live in the station? It has a cement porch behind the pumps, and on it, a set of crushed and grease-impregnated wickerwork. On the wicker sofa, a dirty dog, quite as comfy. Some comic books provide the only note of color, of certain color, that lie upon a big, dim doily draping a tabouret, part of the set, beside a big hirsute begonia. Why the extraneous plant? Why the tabouret? Why, oh, why the doily? Embroidered in daisy stitch with marguerites, I think, and heavy with gray crochet. Somebody embroidered the doily. Somebody watered the plant, or oils it maybe. Somebody arranges the can so that they softly say, so, to high-strung automobiles. Somebody loves us all.
Okay, this concludes round 1. Let's give a round of applause to our recitators. Weren't they wonderful? Yes. They did fantastic. Okay, to start round 2, we have Nia Thomas.
Flowers by Cynthia Zarn. This morning I was walking upstairs from the kitchen carrying your beautiful flowers. The flowers you brought me last night. Calla lilies. And something else. I'm not sure what to call them. White flowers? Of course you had no way of knowing. It has been years since I bought white flowers. But now you have, and here they are again. I was carrying your flowers, and a coffee cup, and a soft yellow handbag, and a book of poems by a Chinese poet, in which I had just read the words, come or go. But don't just stand there in the doorway. As usual, I was carrying too many things. You would have laughed if you saw me. It seemed especially important not to spill the coffee as I usually do. As I turned up the stairs, inside the world of the house, as if I were walking up, inside the lilies. I do not know how to hold all the beauty and sorrow of my life.
Please welcome up to the microphone, Jade Tice.
obligation to be happy by Linda Pessoa. It is more onerous than the rights of beauty or housework, harder than love. But you expect it of me casually, the way you expect the sun to come up, not in spite of rain or clouds, but because of them. And so I smiled, as if my own fidelity to sadness were a hidden vice. That downward tug on my mouth, my old suspicion that health and love were brief irrelevancies, no more than laughter in the warm dark, strangled at dawn. Happiness, I try to hoist it on my narrow shoulders. Again, a knapsack, heavy with gold coins. I stumbled around the house, bumping into things. Only Midas himself would understand.
Up next, we have Serena Roberts.
The Man with Night Sweats by Tom Gunn. I wake up cold. I who prospered through dreams of heat wake to their residue. Sweat and a clinging sheet. My flesh was its own shield. Where it was gashed, it healed. I grew as I explored the body I could trust, even while I adored the risk that made robust. A world of wonders in each challenged the skin. I cannot but be sorry. The given shield was cracked. My mind reduced to hurry, my flesh reduced and wrecked. I had to change the bed, but catch myself instead. Stopped upright where I am, hugging my body to me, as if to shield it from the pains that will go through me. As if hands were enough to hold an avalanche up.
Please welcome to the microphone, Sammy Kimberly.
There Are Birds Here by Jamal May. For Detroit. There are birds here. So many birds here is what I was trying to say when they said those birds were metaphors for what is trapped between buildings and buildings. No, the birds are here to root around for bread, the girls' hands tear and toss like confetti. No, I don't mean the bread is torn like cotton, I said confetti. And no, not the confetti that a tank can make of a building, but the confetti a boy can't stop smiling about. And no, his smile isn't much like a skeleton at all. And no, his neighborhood is not like a war zone. I am trying to say his neighborhood is as tattered and feathered as anything else, as shadow-pierced by sun and light-hearted by shadow dance as anything else. But they won't stop saying, how lovely the ruins, how ruined the lovely children must be in that birdless city.
Next up, we have Lillian Steedley.
War Widow by Chris Avani. The telephone never rings. Still, you pick it up, smile into the static. The breath of those you've loved
long dead. The leaf you pick from the fall rises and dips away with every ridge, fingers stiff from time you trace. Staring off into a distance limned by cataracts and other collected debris, you have forgotten none of the long ago joy of an ice cream truck and its summer song. Between the paving stones, between tea, a cup, and the sound of you pouring, between the time you woke that morning and the time when the letter came, a tired sorrow, like an old flagellant, able to tease only with a weak sting. Riding the elevator all day, floor after floor after floor, each stop some small victory little. From the hard stone of death you smiled. They used to write epics about moments like this.
Please welcome Hyam Ali.
It Couldn't Be Done by Edgar Albert Guest. Somebody said that it couldn't be done, but he with a chuckle replied that maybe it couldn't, but he would be one who wouldn't say so till he tried. So he buckled right in with a trace of a grin on his face. If he worried, he hid it. He started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. Somebody scoffed, "Oh, you'll never do that. At least no one ever has done it." But he took off his coat, and he took off his hat, and the first thing we knew, he'd begun it. With a lift of his chin and a bit of a grin, he started without any laugh, without any doubt or quitting. He started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done. And he did it. There are thousands to tell you it cannot be done. There are thousands to prophesy failure. There are thousands to point out to you one by one the dangers that wait to assail you. But just buckle in with a bit of a grin. Just take off your coat and go to it. Just start in to sing as you tackle the thing that couldn't be done, and you'll do it.
Up next, we have Abby McLaughlin.
The Gift by Lee Young Lee. To pull the metal splinter from my palm, my father recited a story in a low voice. I watched his lovely face and not the blade. Before the story ended, he removed the iron sliver I thought I'd died from. I can't remember the tale, but hear his voice still, a well of dark water, of prayer. And I recall his hands, 2 measures of tenderness he laid against my face, the flames of discipline he raised above my head. Had you entered that afternoon, you would have thought you saw a man planting something in a boy's palm. A silver tear, a tiny flame. Had you followed that boy, you would have arrived here, where I bend over my wife's right hand. Look how I shave her thumbnail down so carefully she feels no pain. Watch as I lift the splinter out. I was 7 when my father took my hand like this, and I did not hold that shard between my fingers and think, metal that will bury me. Christen it, little assassin, or going deep for my heart. And I did not lift up my wound and cry, death visited here. I did what a child does when he's given something to keep. I kissed my father.
Up next, Savannah Smith.
Y2K by Teresa Boyd. When I was in despair, the dark days where I actually used such terms. I noticed the behavior of animals. Sleep when tired, eat when hungry. That made a lot of sense to me, and yet I felt different. I felt my humanness too much. No fly ever wonders whether it should make lots and lots of maggots. It gives birth on a mound of cat food or inside the rubbish bin. As far as I know, it's not worried about overpopulation or what sort of environment its kids will grow up in. My humanness sees me at an art gallery, watching others, watching walls. My humanness gives me dark thoughts of cruel behavior. You are in the States, a visa glitch, and there you remain. Like Star Trek, I talk to you on a screen, your face half a second out of sync with your speech. My Tuesday is already over, and I want to tell you all about it, to prove my superiority. That lovely conceit of time which saw people travel from all over the world to be in Gisborne for the first sunrise of the new millennium. Remember how we all thought the sewer pipes would burst and the criminals would escape, or something like that? Y2K packs sent to every household because no one knew for certain what the numbers 2000 really meant. Somewhere, people, important people, cowered in bunkers, fearing the worst.
Please welcome to the microphone, John David Pike.
Very Large Moth by Craig Arnold, after DHL. Your first thought when the light snaps on and the black wings clatter about the kitchen is a bat. The clear part of your mind considers rabies. The other part does not consider, knows only to startle and cower away from the slap of its wings. Though it is soon clearly not a bat, but a moth, and harmless. Still, you are shy of it. It clings to the hood of the stove, not black, but brown. Its orange eyes sparkle like televisions. Its leg joints are large enough to count. How could you kill it? Where would you hide the body? A creature so solid must have room for a soul. And if this is so, why not in a creature half its size? Or half its size again? And so on, down to the ants. Clearly, it must be saved. Caught in a shopping bag and rushed to the front door, afraid to crush it, feeling the plastic rattle loosened into the night air. It batters the porch light, throwing fitful shadows around the landing. That was a really big moth, is all you can say to your doorman who has watched your whole performance with a smile. The half compassion and half horror we feel for the creatures we want not to hurt and prefer not to touch.
Please welcome Amaya Ham.
A letter to her husband, absent upon public employment, by Anne Bradstreet. My head, my heart, mine eyes, my life. Nay, more, my joy, my magazine of earthly stores. If two be one, as surely thou and I. How stayest thou there, whilst I at Ipswich lie? So many steps, head from the heart to sever, if but a night soon should we be together. I like the earth this season, mourn in black. My son is gone so far in zodiac, whom whilst I joyed, nor storms nor frost I felt, his warmth such frigid colds did cause to melt. In this dead time, alas, cause to melt. Line.
My chilled limbs now numb, lie forlorn.
Thank you. My chilled limbs now numbed, lie forlorn. Return, return, sweet soul from Capricorn. In this dead time, alas, what can I more than view those fruits which through thy heat I bore, which sweet contentment yield me for a space, true living pictures of their Father's face. O strange effect, now thou art softly gone, I weary grow the tedious day so long. But when thou northward to me shalt return, I wish my sun may never set, but burn within the cancer of my glowing breast, the welcome house of him, my dearest guest. Wherever, ever stay and go not thence, till nature's sad decree call thee hence. Flesh of thy flesh, bone of thy bone, I here, thou there, yet both but one.
Up next, we have Alex Schultz.
Do Not by Stevie Smith. Do not despair of man, and do not scold him. Who are you that you should so lightly hold him? Are you not also a man? And in your heart are there not warlike thoughts and fear and smart? Are you not also afraid and in fear cruel? Do you not think of yourself as usual? Fate for ambition, desire to be loved, prick at a virtuous thought by beauty moved? You love your wife, you hold your children dear, then say not that man is vile, but say they are. But they are not. So is your judgment shown, presumptuous, false, quite vain, merely your own sadness for failed ambition, set outside made-up philosophy of print, beautified, and noble dresses into the world sent out, to run with the ill it most pretends to rout. Oh, know your own heart. That heart's not wholly evil. And from the particular judge the general, if judge you must, but with compassion see life, or else of yourself despairing, please strive.
Please welcome out to the microphone, Jada McIntyre.
Hysteria by Dionisio D. Martinez. For Ana Fernandez. It only takes one night with the wind on its knees to imagine Carl Sandburg unrolling a map of Chicago. Puzzled, then walking the wrong way. The lines on his face are hard to read. I alternate between the TV, where a plastic surgeon is claiming that every facial expression causes wrinkles, in the newspaper. I picture the surgeon reading the lines on Sandberg's face. Lines that would have made more sense if the poet had been, say, a tree growing in a wind orchard. Maybe he simply smiled too much. I'm reading about the All-Star game, thinking that maybe Sanders saw the White Sox in 1919. I love American newspapers. The way each section is folded independently and believes it owns the world. There's this brief item in the international pages. The Chinese government has posted signs in Tiananmen Square forbidding laughter. I'm sure the surgeon would approve. He'd say, the Chinese look young much longer. Their faces unnaturally smooth. But what I see, although no picture accompanies the photo, is laughter bursting inside them. I go back to the sports section and a close-up of a rookie in mid-swing, his face keeping all the wrong emotions in check. When I read, I bite my lip. A habit the plastic surgeon would probably call cosmetic heresy because it accelerates the aging process. I think of Carl Sandburg and the White Sox. I think of wind in Tiananmen Square. How a country forbidden of laughter ages invisibly. I think of the great walls of North America, each of them a grip on some outfield like a rookie's hand around the bat when the wind is against him. I bite my lower lip again. I want to learn to think in American, to believe that a headline is a fact and all stories are suspect.
So without further ado, let's welcome our last recitator, Desiree Smith, to the stage.
The Pool Toy by A.E. Stallings. You squeezed its leash in your fist. It followed where you led. Tick, tock, nodding its wooden head, wagging a tail on a spring, its wheels gearing clack-clack, dogging your heels the length of the house, though you seldom glanced back. It didn't mind being dragged when it toppled on its side, scraping its coat of primary colors. Love has no pride. But now that you run and climb and leap, it has no hope of keeping up. So it sits, hunched, at the end of its short rope, and dreams of a rummage sale where it snaps up for a song and of somebody just like you, stringing it along.
Okay, that concludes round 2 of our 2018-2019 Poetry Out Loud competition. We're going to take a quick 10-minute break while our mathematicians give us the winning score. Thank you. All right, guys, before we announce our winner, I would like to call up each recitator. A round of applause for Jay Tice. Serena Roberts. Sammy Kimberly. Lillian Speedley. Hiam Ali. Abby McLaughlin. Savannah Smith. John David Height. Amaya Ham. Alex Schultz. Nia Thomas. I promise we only have two more. Jada McIntyre. And last but not least, Desiree Smith. Okay, I'm going to announce our runner-up first. If the first place winner cannot fulfill their duties, then the runner-up will take their place. So the runner-up of the Toledo Early College 2019 Poetry Out Loud winner is John David Height. And the winner of the 2018-2019 Toledo Early College Poetry Out Loud competition is Serena Roberts. And this concludes our Poetry Out Loud 2018 and 2019. You are dismissed, students.